Good day everyone, I am Jamica the Ocampo and I am here to tackle about the structure of the feature story. First is lead. It should create an image, send a verbal message and capture the reader's imagination. Second, the tone should fit the mood of the story and supply the theme or angle. Next is it should be the lead the reader into the story. What makes a good lead? An anecdote that represents the universal truth. The description of a scene that helps to establish a tone or mood. A description of subject, face, demeanor, posture. A powerful quote. A startling statement. And the strength of any sentence is judged by its degree of improbability. Fall is here, and that means the start of football season tells the reader nothing. The following lead is much better. Fall is here, a fact that head coach Bill Smith may view with some trepidation. Not only does he have to replace 14 seniors from a 2 to 8 season, he must deal with the recent season-ending injury to returning quarterback Dave Jones. And you might start with a question, a narrative or a description, but however you do it, you need to seduce readers into your story via the first paragraph. Also, a quick tip here is that it's often a good idea to write the opening paragraph last of all. Once you've written everything else, or write it and then go back to it when you finish the rest of the picture a lot of the time. Fall is here, and that means the start of football season. The first paragraph that we write will turn out to be driven, and either we'll look at it in horror and cut it ourselves, or the editor will do it for us. Your first or in most cases. Second, paragraph will ideally explain the feature in a nutshell so that the reader knows what they are reading about and why they are reading it. Next is body. Body, it should be unified with all material relating to the theme. All unnecessary data should be omitted. Care should be taken to make certain that each sentence and paragraph adds to the impact of the narrative. Next is the story is organized in a logical order. This does not necessarily mean chronological order. However, the reader should be able to follow the narrative of the story as action jumps back and forth from the past, the present, and even the future. Having got your readers hooked at the start, keep them reading. This is where your writer's skill in creating a logically progressed narrative comes into play. Each paragraph will move your story along and add to the reader's information, embed facts into scenes, so that something new is revealed with each paragraph. If you have interviewed people, let them reveal their parts of the story via direct quotes. You are telling a story with characters in it, so let them speak. Their voices will bring your feature story to life. Don't info them. Space out your information so that everything necessary is included without disrupting your narrative flow, and if you have not enough space to get in all the facts, cut your prose rather than sacrifice information that will add to a reader's knowledge. Next is the conclusion. The ending should give a sense of finality of resolution to the reader. It wraps up all loose ends and leaves the reader with a single significant thought. It stands alone as the reader's final impression. Conclusion, create a satisfactory ending so that the reader understands that the story has reached a conclusion. Don't spoil a good feature by letting it tail off, or make it bottom heavy by cramming in information that should have been woven in a higher rank. Be careful to not to sound pat or heaven forbid press release. Feature writing is about real-life stories, and real life is complex and does not always wrap up into a neat conclusion. This means that one-liners can be a nice way to end a piece, or if you have it, a good quote that underlines everything that you've been saying throughout the picture. Next is type of leads for future stories. Type of leads for feature stories. Unlike the traditional summary lead, feature leads can be several sentences long, and the writer may not immediately reveal the story's main idea. And the most common types used in the feature articles are anecdotal leads and descriptive leads. An anecdotal lead unfolds slowly. It lures the reader in with a descriptive narrative that focuses on a specific minor aspect of the story that leads to the overall topic. The following is an example of an anecdotal lead. Sharon Jackson was sitting at the table reading an old magazine when the phone rang. It was a reporter asking to set up an interview to discuss a social media controversy involving Jackson. And another young woman, "Sorry," she said. "I've already spoken to the several reporters about the incident and do not wish to make any further comments." Notice that the leads unfold more slowly than a traditional lead, and centers on a particular aspect of the larger story. The not graph or a paragraph that reveals the importance of the minor story and how it fits into the broader story would come after the lead. And also, there will be more on the not graph later in this chapter. Next is anecdotal lead. Descriptive leads begin the article by describing a person, place, or event in a vivid detail. They focus on setting the scene for the piece and use language that taps into 5 senses in order to paint a picture for the reader. This type of lead can be used for both traditional news and feature stories. The following is an example of a descriptive lead. Thousands dressed in scarlet and gray t-shirts eagerly shuffled into the football stadium as the university fight song blared. And that's all. Thank you.